Okay, good morning, everyone. I welcome you all on the last day of the ongoing workshop. Our resource person, Dr. Arun, will proceed with his fourth lecture of the series today. This session will be chaired by Dr. Pooja Gupta, who is presently a co host, so you may post your queries to her. Yes, Dr. Arun, we may proceed.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Suraj. Okay, so today I am going to discuss about some applications of basically principal component analysis or singular value decomposition. So I am not sure whether you are aware about singular value decomposition much. So what I am going to do is I am going to just spend some time 10-15 minutes on the concept of singular value decomposition, and then we will implement the same in Python. Since once you know basic functions in Python, let's say you know basic function in NumPy, which you have covered, then everything your implementation become basically depend on the subject knowledge. So if you have the subject knowledge, then obviously you understand what is happening, otherwise you don't understand that. So that is as simple as that. So what I'll do, I'll basically spend some time on let's say 15-20 minutes on principal component relation, singular value decomposition, then we will implement and we will get the application of that in basically some areas. Okay, so I'll take you through this concept that is called basically principal component analysis. So hope you can see my screen. So principal component analysis is a concept which is very useful, and this concept comes from linear algebra. Now in this basically PCA, what you do, you essentially, so let proceed further. Okay, so PCA was invented by Carl Pearson in 1901. It is a very useful concept not in data science but in other areas like maybe mathematical finance, machine learning, and even image processing and many engineering applications. So what happens, uh, main aim of PCA is, or factor analysis, also one area that is used in economics and finance. So PCA, the central idea of principal component analysis is to reduce the dimension of a data set. So data set essentially, let's say you are in a prediction problem. Prediction is basically you want to predict something based on some factors. You want to predict something. Let's say one example. Let's say you want to predict the crop yield. So crop yield basically how much crop yield will be there, crop production. But that may depend on many factors. It may depend on your fertilizer, how much fertilizer you put, how much is the, if you have that basically numerical value of that, how much sunshine is there, how much basically humidity is there, what is the soil type, and so on. So many factors may affect your crop production. Now in this way we have, let's say, 4-5 factors. These are called factors. Let's say uh, fertilizer, sunshine, crop type, sorry, soil type, water, rain, and all those things. These are factors. Now what happens, these are, let's say, 5 factors only, but in some cases you may have more factors. Let's say you want to predict the price of some, let's say, stock, equity, or share, you, if you understand share, based on several factors. So several factors could be uh, let's say GDP growth in the country, it could be basically inflation in the country, it could be how much the stock value was basically in the last 1 month, and so there could be hundred of factors. Now what happens in this case, sometimes you may have so many factors, some of them are important, some of them are not important to prediction purpose, for prediction purpose. So in that case, PCA play an important role. It tells that whether there is a basically redundancy between your factors. If your factors are redundant and they basically some factors can be reduced by using that. So PCA help in that. So it look essentially on the factors or whatever you have, and then it tells you, okay, if you can reduce them, you can have, let's say you have 100 of factors, And then if you want to have only 20 out of them, then you can do it through PCA. So if you know, let's say, eigenvalues and eigenvectors, so here what we are saying that you have basically, if you see this data, this you assume this is a data, this is a, I have, this should be a scatter plot, essentially a scatter plot is, we have already done a scatter plot. Then this is one component and this is another perpendicular component. Okay, so this means in, we can shift the axis, we can shift the axis, and then we can align this in this way, we can align the data in this way. So what we have done, earlier we have 3 dimensions, here we have 3 dimensions, but data can be even good to represent in 2 dimension only. So 1 dimension we have reduced in this process, since it cover all the components of the data, the 2 dimension itself. Whatever variability in the data is there in 3 dimension, it can be covered in 2 dimension itself, since data is like this. So in this way, there is a reduction in dimension. You have reduced the data which was in 3 dimensions. So 1 dimension is redundant, essentially. It doesn't have any information. So it is in 2 dimension. So now what we have done in this case, so you know that eigenvectors are those directions if you basically multiply your original data set by the eigenvector, then there is a change only, either it shrink or either it expand basically. So it is the change if you multiply your data set by eigenvector. So this means that your direction doesn't change, direction of your eigenvector remains same. So that's why we call AV is equal to lambda V. So AV basically is the original matrix and V is your eigenvector. Then it is just equal to lambda into V. So by multiplying your data matrix by eigenvector, essentially doesn't change the direction of the eigenvector. So it remains same. And then either it expand or it shrinks. So this simple concept, like AV is equal to lambda V, we call eigenvalued eigenvector, basically can be used in basically data reduction. Or so in this way, AV is equal to lambda V. So this means, so what we do then, let's say, so in this way, our data is like this. This is a scatter plot, x1 and x2. This is a scatter plot. Now what happened, this data has basically this direction. So in this direction, data vary more in this direction. If you see this direction, data has very much variation in this direction. And in this direction, if you see perpendicular to this, data has less variation, since it vary from, let's say, the extreme point this to this, you can say, and there are so much variation in this direction. And in this direction, perpendicular direction, it only vary from here to here and not basically much this way. So now what we do, so we can say that this direction has much variation, much variation. So if we want to reduce our data to 1 dimension only, then we can only choose this dimension, or we can basically transform our data in such a way that it has only this direction. So in that way, we can have only 1 direction or 1 vector. So if you represent this data set, it is a 2-dimensional plane. So it will have two vectors essentially. Two basically, you can say, column, if you want to put in a column form. So one represent the x component, another represent the y component. Okay, and then it in R2. But if you want to have only basically 1 dimension, which basically cover essentially a majority of variation in the data, then you can have only 1 column which is having the major variation. So that is the main idea of principal component analysis. So let's say you basically get the eigenvectors and then you translate it, and then you can take this x vector itself as the main component. So this is the main idea of principal component analysis. So what you do essentially then, if you understand positive semi-definite matrix. So positive semi-definite matrix are those matrix where basically eigenvalues are non-negative. That is one criteria. Or alternate definition is that it is symmetric and V transpose MV is greater than or equal to 0 for every V belongs to V. So this is a positive semi-definite matrix. And then positive definite matrix is also there where it is strictly greater than 0. So properties of this kind of matrix are, it is basically the eigenvalues are non-negative and you have all the eigenvalues are non-negative, and there is a exists a matrix B such that B transpose B is equal to M. So this kind of matrix exists there always. So this is a property. And how we do generally PCA? So we have a data set and then we basically get this is a data set. I am saying that this kind of data, if you working in, let's say, area, if you are interested in working in, let's say, data science, which is a hot area nowadays. Hot area essentially, since so many jobs, so many government even itself is saying that our Niti Aayog is saying that by 2035 $1 trillion basically rupees, $1 trillion essentially, $1 trillion roughly will be added in this area, in jobs, in market size, and so many things. So in data science machine learning area, by 2035, next 15 years, 1 trillion GDP or 1 trillion equivalent GDP will be generated in this area. And that is a huge basically amount, you can say, since India GDP is 3 trillion only right now, roughly. So 1 trillion in one particular area is a very big amount. This is the estimate of the Niti Aayog. So data science basically means that you basically have data, and by data you get conclusions, you draw inference, you identify the people who are the customers, you identify the faulty things in the manufacturing process, you identify the basically hotspot, criminal hotspot, you identify the frauds in the banking system. So many things comes under data science. And you image processing also comes in broadly in data science now, automating image processing, and faulty basically different kind of pattern detection also. So PCA basically, now let's come to this. So essentially in this is called feature data, so which is in a matrix form. So you have, these are the columns, so one feature column, another feature column, another feature column. So what we do, we basically subtract the mean, column means, and then we get this matrix another B transform matrix, and then we calculate this is called the covariance matrix, this quantity. And then once we get the covariance matrix, and then covariance matrix has all the positive definite matrix, it is a positive basically semi-definite matrix always, and it is symmetric. And then what you do, you apply the PCA. So what is the procedure of PCA? Once you get this matrix, as I explained already, then you calculate the eigenvalues and eigenvector corresponding to this. Now the good part is that if it is a covariance matrix, it is always positive semi-definite, and it is basically diagonalizable. So this means all the eigenvectors are unique. So once you have unique eigenvectors, so this means that you have basically essentially unique eigenvector means this is, you can put in a diagonal form always, and that has an advantage. So what you can do, you can put your eigenvalues in descending order, and once you put them descending order, so you select basically let's say you have 20 eigenvalues. Then if you want to reduce your data size by 10, you only want to have 10 important dimension or 10 important columns, then you basically choose the 10 highest eigenvalues, and then you use those, and you basically discard others, and in that way you generate a new matrix which will have the equivalent information as your original in basically, let's say in your original there were 20 columns, then those 10 will cover basically majority of the variation in the data, maybe let's say 90%, 95%. So by just discarding 5 columns, 10 columns, you only discard 5% of the information. So sometimes that is important when you have maybe 10,000 columns, and then it becomes very difficult to analyze based on those, since there is a computational cost associated with every extra columns. So in that case, you say that, okay, I will work with 90% of the information if my dimension is reduced. So you reduce the dimension in that way. So you select the highest eigenvalues and the corresponding eigenvectors, and then you get a new, basically new data matrix Y, which is the original matrix into, this is the collection of all the eigenvectors, those eigenvectors which you want to keep corresponding to these highest eigenvalues. So you select these L highest eigenvalues when you put them in descending order, and then you basically BWL give you the basically new dimension, new data set which has almost same information as your original data set, or maybe 90% information, 95% of the information. So this is roughly the procedure of PCA. So PCA has applications in basically different areas. Then there is another concept that is called basically singular value decomposition. So in singular value decomposition also, what you do, so this is similar to that. So in this form, only thing is that in PCA you have a square matrix. We basically have a square matrix, then we find the eigenvalues and eigenvectors. Here you may have a non-square matrix, and that often happen in real life. You don't have a square matrix, you have basically a non-square matrix. Since square matrix basically means that number of basically factors and the number of data points is same, but that doesn't happen always. So if you have a non-square matrix, M cross N matrix, then even this is maybe a complex, but in real life generally it is real. So then you can decompose this matrix in this form, U as V star, where basically U is a unitary matrix. If it is complex, then otherwise you can say that this is orthogonal matrix. So then this is a diagonal matrix, and then you have a another unitary matrix, and then V star is the complex conjugate transpose of the matrix V. So in this way you basically decompose the matrix, and then you basically choose the import where S is a diagonal matrix which contains the singular, basically singular values of that. So let me go to singular values of this matrix. So it contains the singular values, and those singular, essentially we take the major values, again similar to the PCA, and then we get a new matrix, and then that matrix basically can be used. So actually I cannot cover all the basically aspect of this concept, singular value decomposition here, since this is again area where many theorems are there. So but that is the main idea. You decompose the matrix in this way, U S V transpose, V star, which is the conjugate transpose of matrix V. Now basically, now let me go further. So if we get this matrix, then this can be used in image processing. So image compression, where you reduce the size of the image, has applications from HBD. So we will do that application in Python now. So once, let me again tell you how it works. So suppose we have the image of M cross and pixels. So essentially when you have an image, so that can be represented in form of a matrix, where your image, where the basically it has, let's say, M cross and pixels. You have image, let's just start from the top left corner. So top left corner, then after basically you divide the whole image into several squares, several squares. and then each square is called a pixel. And this means that if you have an image, you divide that into m cross n size, right? And then these are the m cross n squares, you can say, in that, in the your whole image. And then each square has its own color, and that colors combination is basically pixel, and that color combination can be represented by a number based on certain like things, algorithm, and those numbers basically put in a matrix form, and that become your matrix. And then once you have a matrix, then you have the control over what you want to do with that matrix, and then you can reconvert it to that, convert to the image. So there are procedure. Now what you do, once you have this m cross n pixels matrix, which we denote by m cross n, and then we apply the singular value decomposition on this matrix, since this may not be square matrix, right? So your square is, your image generally is not like a square shape. It could be more height, less width, or so on, so many things. Then you have decomposition, and then what we do, suppose we want to basically have, we want to have only, so it has a certain size in kb, this image, due to those pixels value and all those things. Now if you want to basically, you want to use a less basically clear image, its size will be less. So in that case what you do, so in the S, which contains all the singular values has a equivalent with, let's say, eigenvalues. So singular values and eigenvalues, you can understand them, these are the important component in the image. So if you take only the few highest eigenvalues or singular values, you want to take them, which contains the maximum basically you can say is contrast in the image, then you basically capture the important feature of the image. So in that case you only select the few important eigenvalues or singular values, in this case singular values. Let you select only the k important singular values, and then you basically select a sub portion of the matrix, and then you multiply again, you get the matrix, new matrix M, and then you make the image. This will be your new image, which will have lesser size than the original image. So it will look like this. You have original matrix, this is the image equivalent. Then what you do, you have your m cross m, this is a big matrix. Then you have your S, you have your V transpose. Then out of this what you do, you basically take the only few important eigenvalues. It is a diagonal matrix, and the rest may be zero also here. Then you take the only few important eigenvalues from here, the highest one, and then you also, since you have to multiply them again, you have to keep this m cross k, k cross k, and k cross n, and then you multiply them again, you get the m dash. So in this m dash, you have only taken the few important eigenvalues, and then you get the, you converted this matrix to again image, that will be your compressed image. So that is the main idea. So what we do, you have an image, you convert that image to basically, you convert that image to in matrix by using the algorithm. There are, and then you select the few important eigenvalues, and you use those eigenvalues to reconstruct a new matrix, and then you convert that to image. So this is the whole process. Now obviously, if you are interested in this area, which is image processing, image compression, image processing, reduction, pattern recognition, everything's basically comes under image processing, or maybe in broad data science. Now what we do, so now let us go to this, how to use it in Python. Okay, so the first thing is that we need to have the import numpy library. Import numpy is np, that we basically call. Then from numpy we import diagonal. So if you understand diagonal, and from numpy import zeros. So these two library we import from the numpy big library. So diagonal basically what it does, So suppose I want to have a diagonal matrix where I can just supply the diagonal values. So let me just call this function. So what I have to do, I have to call this function m1 diagonal. So I need not to do that. So diagonal, and then I have to just supply the diagonal vector, and then it will become a matrix in Python here. So this we need further. So that's why I'm calling this again. Maybe you know this already. So in this way, I have supplied the diagonal elements, and then it will make a matrix out of this. And this means my matrix will be, sorry. So this should be small. Okay. M1. So this is my diagonal matrix. So it has 1, 2, 3, 4 as the diagonal. I have only supplied the diagonal elements in the list, and then this become my matrix. So I may need this in the future, since we have in the singular value decomposition, we have a diagonal matrix there, that USSV star. So S is our, capital S is our diagonal matrix. So that's why we need this function diagonal. Then zeros is also there, where you can construct a zero matrix. Let's say you want to construct, you can, where all entries are 0. So you can construct another matrix M2 is equal to zeros, and then you have to pass the size. So pass size basically means I am saying I need a 2 cross 3 matrix which has all the elements 0. All the elements are 0, but I want this matrix. Maybe I may need this. So I call this M2. So I call the M2. So this is my matrix. I can change the size. I can make it, let's say 3, 4, and then this is my matrix. This is my, this represent in array form itself. So, okay, this is in fact not exactly matrix right now. This is in fact just a square array. We can convert it to matrix. A square array only. These are square arrays only right now. So I can convert them to matrix by just calling here np.mat function. np.mat. So this is matrix now. So earlier these are array. They look like same, but in fact their operations are different. They look like it is saying array here. So this means this is a double array. And if I convert it to matrix, this is saying matrix here. This look like same, but this is a matrix. Okay. So now one thing is that, so let me convert. So now another important aspect is that that we will use below. So from this matrix, let's say I want to select these first 2 rows, these 2 rows. How to select those? So there is a operation I have to in this way. So M1, and then you basically call them in the square bracket. So this represent the, so this is this kind of operation, this kind of operation. So this represent I am selecting all the rows, and this represent I am selecting all the columns. So this operation they use. So suppose I want to select only first 2 rows. So I can call that I need 0 to 2. So it will generate an index from 0, 1. If I call 0 to 2, this means I want to take 0 to 1 row. 2 it will not include. That is the convention here. And I want to select all the columns, so I need not to put anything. I just put this colon. So in this way, I'll get the first 2 rows. So 0 to 2 basically means that 0, 1 only. If I put 0, 3, so this means 0, 1, 2. So in Python, counting start from 0. So this is the 0, 0 element, 0th row, 0th column. This is the 0, 1th element, 0 row, 1 first column. This is the, so it is called, however, this is the second column, but in index term, Python starts, it is indexed from 1. So it is the 0, 1th in index term. This is the 0, 2th. This is 0, 3rd. So it, however, this is a 4 cross matrix, 4 cross 4 matrix, but Python only start counting from 0 to 3, 0 to 3 in both the direction. So it start from 0, 0. So this is 0, 0th. If I want to get this element, so I have to put here M1. Essentially, I can put like this 0, 0. So I will get 1. This is a 0, 0th element. This is the 2, 2th element. So I have to call this 1, 1. Since index start from this is 2. So that's how it works. So once you understand how to select the rows and columns from this double array, then we can proceed further. Okay. So now I call this library, then I call there is a SciPy library in Python and it has linear algebra package, and then we call the SVD package, singular value decomposition, from this SVD, as we have discussed the theory part of this. Then from sklearn.decomposition import truncated SVD. So this is another library. So however, whatever procedure we have discussed earlier, that out of let's say 10 columns, I want to only select the 5 most informative columns, which have 5 most informative columns. So this means I can basically do the process by first identifying the highest 5 eigenvalues and then the corresponding eigenvectors and then multiplying those things. But the good part is that in this library, from sklearn library, already they have built the procedure. You have to just call the functions to do all the work that we need. You need to tell only, okay, from the data, how many features you want to take. You have to tell that. So we call this truncated SVD function, and then we define a matrix. Initially, I take a simple matrix, and then in this matrix, I define np.array 1 1 0 0 1 1. So this is a 2 rows 3 columns matrix, 2 cross 3 matrix. And now what I want to do, I want to only select one important column out of this. It has 3 columns, but I want to take the one important column which has the highest variation, which give the highest information. So in this case, what I do, I make a matrix of this np.matrix command. As you know that it is a double array, and then I make a matrix, and then I use the singular value decomposition functions, which give me everything u sigma v. So u sigma v or usv are basically the decomposed matrix. 3 component it give. So when you apply the singular value decomposition on the matrix, you get the 3 components. So we get those 3 components here, u sigma v. And then since I have to use, then what we do, we say that okay, in this way we can select, we can see that highest eigenvalues we can see, or we can directly use this command. So from the, let's say I call this way, we create a instance of this function or this class truncated SVD, and components, I want only one component out of 3. There are 3 columns, we want only one. I can choose it 2 also, I can choose 3 also. And then svd1.fit matrix A. Then what happens is on this matrix A, which is the data matrix, we basically fit the SVD component, and then we transform matrix A to in one feature only, as we discussed already. So in this way, this B matrix has the, basically you can say, highest variation, or you can select 2 also, then our B will be basically 2 cross 2 kind of thing. Then your matrix will be this one, 2 cross this one. We have the 2 dimension. So if you understand, so what happens, suppose you have 100 of columns and you want to only take, let's say 10 out of them, which are the most important one, which has the highest variation in terms of information, since that you use for further analysis. Then what you can do by using this singular value decomposition, you reduce that 100 dimension to 10 dimension only, where it has equivalent information or maybe slightly lower information, and that you can use. So in this way you have basically reduced the dimension with a very significant amount. So then what I do, the same logic we can apply on a particular data. So I have a data set here which I have taken to apply on the, so I have this data which I'm opening. So this data I have, so it has 6 dimensions: x1, x2, x3, x4, x5, x6. So this data. So suppose we want to only take 2 or 3 out of these rather than basically taking all 6. Since in general there may be 1000, but yeah, same logic apply. You can convert 1000 to 10 or 20. You can convert 6 to, let's say, 2 or something. So then the first thing that I have to read the data. So if you have not used this command, import pandas as pd. So pandas, it has all the functions to read the data from your computer. So what we do, essentially we use, it depend on the format. So there are pd.read csv, pd.read csv. Since my data is in CSV format, so there it could be Excel format, it could be CSV format, it could be some other format. Then we use the corresponding function, and then what I call pd.read CSV, and then I have to give the path. This is the path where data is saved on my computer. So this is on desktop, and there is a scmp 2020 folder, and then this is the file name, and this is the, it has extension CSV. And once this data is basically, then it reads the data from the computer, and then this data look like, this data look like this. Now this is in my Python environment, this data, all the data here. Now what I want to do, I want to use the singular value decomposition on this data set. So before doing that, I have to convert, this is a data frame actually. So in Python, you have to understand that once you read the data, so it has to be, so different function apply on different kind of data set. So singular value decomposition cannot be applied on a data frame. Since this is a data frame, it can be applied only the matrix. So you have to convert the data which you have read from your computer, which by pandas command turn out to be in a data frame. You can check that. So if I say df, and then I say type of df, like what is the type of this data? So it is telling that this is a data frame. So I cannot use the svd on the data frame. I have to basically convert it into a matrix. Okay. So then before that, so we have, these are our features, but this unnecessary column has come in the data, unnamed 0. So I have to drop this data set. This is not important. This due to CSV format, it has read though just the index. So I have to remove this column. So to doing that, I create a new data set df1, and by dropping this particular column, and then I have to give the axis. So in data frame, this axis x1, x2, x3, which we are calling, this is called axis 1, and this particular axis is called axis 0. So I have to drop a particular column from axis 1. So I have to tell the axis name, which axis you want to drop it. So I have to drop it axis 1. So that I have given this command, and then this become my df1. So if I see df1, so you see that in this particular data set df1, this particular column has been removed. So I have this data. Now this data, to apply the singular value decomposition, I have to convert this data to a matrix. So to convert to matrix, then I basically call this function. First we have to convert to an array, and then np.matrix, it become in a matrix. So this convert, this basically converts our data frame to a matrix to apply the SVD. So now this is a matrix, and then we basically apply the singular value decomposition on this matrix, where it gives the three components: U, the diagonal matrix, and the V matrix, and then this become our SVD matrix A. And then what we want to do, I say that okay, I want to reduce from 6 to, let's say, 3 columns. So I can put 3 here. I want to have from 6 to 3 columns where it has equal information or equivalent information. It may not have equal information, since obviously you are reducing the data by some dimension. So this means there will be information loss anyway. But yes, if, like, let's say there is a trade-off, if by reducing 100 to 10, 100 columns to 10 column, your information still remain 90-95%, then there is no harm. You have reduced the dimension significantly by just losing the information 5%. So in this way, what you do, you say that we want to have out of 6 to 3 columns, and then this function essentially then svd dot fit on matrix A, which is your matrix A here, this one, and then it basically give you 3 columns. So you get these 3 columns. So these 3 columns has basically, you can say, equivalent or slightly less information than the original matrix. And then if you want to use them for further analysis, let's say if you understand regression. So in regression, what happens? You predict something based on some independent variables, some dependent thing on independent variables. So rather than using the 6 basically independent variable there, you can use these 3 independent variables, and which will give you equivalent results. Okay. So that's how this become important to basically do the this singular value decomposition, or PCA, dimension reduction. Dimension reduction is a big area where basically by using techniques of dimension reduction, these are the two we have discussed, all PCA and SVD kind of thing, but there are more techniques to reduce the dimension. So dimension reduction is a whole area where you say that okay, rather than storing something in more dimension, if you can have the similar information in less dimension. So this is a big area in dimension reduction, which has applications broadly in, you can say, almost many areas. Since this means if you have more dimension, your storage is also more. You are storing something in computer also, it will take more space. In basically, if you have in analysis, more dimension basically means you have to do more computation, since you have to process all the columns. So there are different areas, like say factor analysis. Factor analysis is very like important area when you go to stock market, you go to economics, where based on factors you predict something. So in that way, this principal component analysis or singular value decompositions are very, like say, crucial, and this is a very good area. Similarly, in image processing, let's say you have an image maybe of size, very big size, 1 GB. Image could be a very large size. When satellite images are there, they are very big size. Images are in 1 GB itself, images. Then if the same information 1 GB rather than can be stored in, let's say, 100 MB by using the processing, this decomposition, all those things, then obviously then satellite image can be, if 1 GB, then storage become important. Since every image is of 1 GB, then automatically in 1000 image, it will full the 1 TB hard disk, and then so on. But if you can retrieve that information only in 100 MB, you can capture the similar information maybe slightly with lower resolution in 100 MB, then that is good actually. So that's why this become important to have these techniques. And there are more techniques. These are the, you can say, one. Okay. Now what we do, we will basically use SVD for image compression. Like you will take an image, and then you will basically process that image. Okay. and then you will basically do the SVD on the image. Now what happened? So again, we have to call some libraries, since everything you cannot write immediately by your hand. So you have to call the libraries which were written by people, maybe, and need also different expertise to write those libraries, since you should have the knowledge of all the transformation which convert in image to in matrix, and maybe different kind of image. There are image format also. Some image are in JPG format, some image are in GIF format, some image are PNG format. So different kind of image have a little bit different structure. So those things are also in background important. Now what happened? So what we call these libraries matplotlib, numpy. Time is not required anyway. This is, I think, not required. Then you go from PIL, import image. So this is a PIL library where we call image. Then there is a image here. Actually on my computer I have my own image, so that I'll show you somewhere. I put it here. Okay. So I have this image, black and white image, this one on my computer, this image. So this image I have, so I want to read this image. So what I do, by using the, I say image.open. This is the function that we use to open the image, and then I give the path where the image is saved. Then this image is a colored image. Again, there is a lot of like you need some background in that. Like this is a colored image which is basically RGB format. So we convert the image to grayscale. You can process this colored image also, but for simplicity we will only convert this image to a grayscale where only black and white color will be there. So what you do, by using this function itself, image.convert, and this is a method name, LA method. So this method basically convert a let's say colored image to a grayscale image. So you can see the help of this function here, that it has an algorithm which basically convert okay, let me write it here. So help. So you basically write this function to see the basically, okay. So this method convert in module PIL image. So essentially what it does, it returns a converted copy of this image. Okay, and then you have obviously different method. So image use Floyd Steinberg diether to maximize the original image luminosity and all those things. So it essentially what it does, it basically convert your colored image to a black and white image by using the method defined in the background. So image processing itself is a big area. So again, you just take it like this, that okay, there is some method which convert the image into the grayscale image. Okay. Okay. Now what happened? Now what we do, so once this image is converted, then okay, you can see the image, gray image. This is a grayscale image. So you have a colored image and then you convert it to a grayscale image. Okay. And then what you do, what basically, then next thing is that to get the image matrix. So again, it basically gray image, it basically get data. Essentially this function essentially convert the grayscale image to the image matrix. So your image matrix is then ready, and then this is basically give you an array first, and then you convert that to a matrix, image matrix. So once your image matrix is ready, so in this process obviously there are some algorithm which basically first convert your colored image to gray image, black and white kind of thing, and then that essentially translate that image to a matrix in pixel format. And generally what happens in your image, the values are from 0 to 255. So in earlier computer, it can vary only, it used to take only, let's say, how many bits. So it used to take only, so okay, now it used to take only, I think, something 4 bit earlier. So 4 bit basically means 2 to the power 4, means 16. The number could vary from 0 to 16 kind of thing. So now computer take basically 8 bit string. So this means 2 to the power 8, and that is, I think, 256. So it can take 256 shades of the image. So in basically you can say black and white. So starting from black to white, it basically take 250 shades, 256 shades. So basically this means small change, small change. So you can have essentially 256 changes between black and white, like pure white at one end, pure black at one end, and in between 256 combinations between them, black and white. So this means the quality of black and white image also has improved in computer, rather than it earlier it used to take only maybe 8 shades or something, some very less shades. Like there will be between black and white, there will be only 8 possible shades. So now what we do, basically I have just, for your help little bit to understand this. So this is a white image that I have basically copied on my computer from somewhere, white image. So it white, but still it has some small variations also, what you can see. So this image also we will read from computer, and then there is a pure black image. Then you will see that how the matrix look like when you convert this image to a matrix, how it look like. So now what we do, I'll read again these images in background. If I go down, so I read this image. So I take this white image which has only a white color, nothing else, and then I use the same procedure, convert it to, however this is already gray image, but still I convert it to gray so that there should not be error. And then I see the matrix of this. So this is the matrix. So however this is not a pure white image, somewhere some shades are there in this also, not pure white. So that's why, so if it is a pure white image, then everything will be 255, all the entry. So we are saying that there are 256 shades between black and white. So this means all the entry will be close to 255 in the white image. So black start with 0, and the pure black is 0, and pure white is 255. So in this case you see that there are 236, so this means this is not pure white, and there are 255 also. So this means that somewhere it is pure white also. So 0 to 255 vary, essentially 256 shades. And then this image is the, so this means somewhere here, maybe somewhere here there is a white color, pure white color, it is identifying in this way. Then you take the black image, and then black image obviously will be very close to the 0. So those values will be very close to a 0, and essentially it is somewhere it is identifying the white also. In this there is something down also, that's why some rows are still 255 here. This white also is there. Maybe it is identifying some pixels here in the bottom. So here obviously this is pure black, so close to 0, and then comes to this one 255, where some white is also there in the bottom. So this way you can understand that pure black is close to 0 and pure white is close to 255. So now what I do, I have a colored image, and then what we do is we basically read it. And then we convert it to image matrix. These are image matrix. And then what we do, we decompose this image matrix by using the singular value decomposition to basically convert image to reduce the size essentially. And then what we do, in this way, I want to select, as I discussed in singular value decomposition theory part, that if I show you again the slides there, let me show you that. Where is that? Just a second, I'll show you. Okay, so here. So we got now this matrix M already by using our singular value decomposition. We read the matrix, we convert to the matrix form, and then what we want to do, I want to do this sort of thing. So instead of taking UM cross M, SM cross N, we take here K cross K. So K can vary from, let's say 1, I can take 1 only, K is equal to 1, I can take K is equal to 5, I can take K is equal to 10. And then what we do, we basically take the sub matrix so that the size of this product is still remain M cross N. So if you see that M and M dash has size M cross N only, since this is M cross K, this is K cross K. So this become the product, if you use the associative rule of the matrix product, this become M cross K, and then this become K cross N. So this become M cross N still. So this means the original matrix and this matrix has size same, but in between what we have done, we have only reconstructed the matrix by considering few important eigenvalues or singular values rather than taking the all the singular values here. Only few bigger or larger in size eigenvalues, so that we have only captured the majority of the variation in the image. So you can see that there is some areas where more contrast is there. So if you identify the image where contrast is important, since if you miss the contrast, let's say there is a eyes, so around eyes you will see that there is a contrast, the image change from black to white or white to black very often. So in center you have, let's say, white black, which is 0, around 0 the matrix value, and around that white, so this has 255. So this means 0 to 255 there is a large variation. So by picking the largest eigenvalues, you are picking the largest contrast or largest variation in the image, and this way you can identify the important features by taking those values. And once you basically start including lower eigenvalues and the corresponding matrix, then you are basically picking more finer, you can say, things. But contrast basically important in something to identify something. If you just capture the important features, that give you some idea of the image. Okay, so initially you only pick the important one, and then you construct the matrix, and then you get the reconstruct value. So in this way what we do, so this way, as I discussed already, from the U matrix we have selected all the rows, since as I told you again, we need all the rows. We need all the rows here. If you see again this, so how many rows are there? M rows in this matrix, M, and M columns. And this also we take all the rows, U dash. So rows remain same. but column you can change. Here K, so K can be 1, then 1 column in this is a square matrix, and then again K here, K rows here. So you have to do K columns, K cross K, K rows, K columns, and here K rows only. So in this way we select in our code. So what I do by using this principle, what let's say here I have selected all the rows but only one column, the first column. So this means 0 to 1, I can put here 0 also. So only the one column, the first column. Here this means I construct the diagonal matrix by using those eigenvalues, and then only the one eigen values, the corresponding to one eigenvalue. This is 1 cross 1 matrix. If you see this one, this is 1 cross 1 matrix. And then again in the next one we multiply again this thing. So we select essentially all the columns but only the first row. So that's why this matrix also has the same shape as the earlier matrix. And then similarly what we do, we divide the range into what we do, then we basically can select. Let me just maybe remove this part initially. I comment it, edit, it should be okay. So let me comment this. So rather than making this initially complicated, I just comment this part. Okay. So I run this code. So this is the image in black and white format. So earlier the image was colored, but we have used some operation to convert that to a grayscale image. And then by taking the one principal eigenvalues, only one eigenvalue, single eigenvalues or single singular values, since we have SVD here. So we get this image, which is of lower size than the original image, but you cannot see anything here. You cannot see a even face here. This is the one by selecting the one eigen, basically one singular value. Now what we do, rather than taking one, I can take the two important one. So I have to change this way, since I have to select from all the three components U, U, S and V this way. And then again we can see that this was the original, but this has now more contrast. More contrast part it has covered. Like contrast basically means when black and white, but in between still it is missing. No image, you cannot see the image here right now. So if you take here, let's say 5, I take the 5 more important eigenvalues, and then so remember that our image, let me again tell you what is the size of our matrix. So in that case you can see that print you, it is also important to know that image matrix dot shape, like how many, so it has 198 rows and 200 columns our image matrix. So essentially out of that what we have, so we are taking only 5 possible eigenvalues. So however this matrix is not a square matrix, but this singular value will have, let's say the minimum one 198, it will have 198 eigenvalue it should have, or some maybe 0 also, and then remaining two rows of this will be 0 this way. So out of 5 you can see that if you select only 5 eigenvalues out of 198 columns, only 5 has this much information. You can also interpret in this way. So this is the complete information in the matrix form, but by considering the 5 important eigenvalues, this at least you can see some faces there, human faces there in the 5 if you consider 5. And then if you reduce this take to 10 or something, then obviously you will have a better picture. And in this way what we are doing, we are basically obviously this will also increase the size of the image that it should be. So by taking 10, at least you get the rough picture. Some picture you get by taking the 10 eigenvalues. And then obviously, if you take 198, you take 50 out of that, then this will be better picture. So still we are taking less number of $50. So in this way you have this picture. By considering out of 198, let's say columns, you are considering the 198 eigenvalues, possible eigenvalues. You are only considering the 50 important eigenvalues. Then this is the image. This is the original one, and this is the by considering the 50 eigenvalues. And it will have, if you check the size, it will have slightly lower size than the original one. But when you have a very, let's say 1 GB, so here everything is in KB, original image in KB, this image is also in KB. So there is a very less, let's say, benefit. But when you have the original image in GB, and then if you do this process, then this image, which is obviously lower resolution than the earlier one, which is not that clear than the original one, you have essentially the with lesser size. So sometimes this also happens. WhatsApp, when you use WhatsApp, so WhatsApp, when you basically upload an image and when it go there to the other person, it reduce the size sometimes, since obviously they save the data also, they save their processing speed also in this way. And so in that way they do this operation in background. So your image pass through all these code, let's say whatever we have written, it automatically, they say that okay, whenever you send an image, it will basically consider the only, let's say 80% of the eigenvalues, whatever eigenvalues you get, and then automatically the code will basically process your image, and at the next end in the processing part, it will reduce the size and some quality also. This happens. You take the image, you send it through WhatsApp, the next person will receive the image with lesser quality. Similarly on Google image also, you upload the image from your camera in Google Image, Google Drive, and where you have Google Images, the basically quality will be lower after this process. And whenever you have compress kind of thing, you do compress, you do zipping kind of thing, these also happen there. This processing, some of these processing happens there. So now in this way we do. So this is one part that is called image compression, where you basically reduce the size on the cost of some quality of the image. This is one thing. Then cropping also, you can basically you want to select only a portion of the image using the same procedure. So in cropping and the compression, the important difference is that in compression, your original matrix of the image and the resulting matrix after doing the singular value decomposition have the same dimension. It is m cross n. So let's say my matrix here, let me see, let me just write. So this is my image matrix shape. This is the original matrix. It is 198 into 200. Then reconstitute image, which is again my matrix. So this also has the same shape. So if I print this shape also, Control V dot shape. So they have the same shape. So you see that this is my original shape. This is my after doing the SVD and selecting the major eigenvalues, some principal eigenvalues, singular values, the shape remains same. So in this way, my image is of same like size. So this means this and this has the same size. If you compare them back to back, you put, so they have size. But if you want to do cropping part, so I want to select only a portion of this image. In that case, what I have to do, I have to basically take the lesser size basically matrix. So my original matrix is m cross n, and then I can only take the left hand corner from this image, then my matrix will be of lesser size. So what I do then in this case, again I use the SVD for image cropping. If you understand basically this part, like you have same size, then you basically compress the image by selecting only the important singular values. In this case, what we do, we basically take the M cross N, we take P cross Q, which is where P less than M and Q less than N generally. So what happens in this case, what I do, I basically take the important this way. So everything remains same here. You read the image, you convert it to grayscale, you convert it to a matrix form, and then what you do, instead of taking, let's say this one, you basically want to crop it. So what I do, then I select only the, rather than selecting all the rows, I have a matrix M cross N, I only select the first 50 rows, and then in this case 40 basically means I select the 40 important eigenvalues, and then I select 40 here, and I make some changes here also. So here I select the I can select all, or I can select less here. So this is, let's say 15 to 40 matrix, this is 14 to 40 matrix, and the last one should be 14 to something. So this is, I can change this also, last one also. I can say that, okay, I don't want the whole matrix, I want only 40 into this size, I want only 40 into 50. This also I can change. 40 into 60, whatever you want to make, you can make here changes. Only thing is that it should be multipliable, like it is 50 into 40, this is 40 into 40, and this is 40 into 50. So everything will become a 50 into 50 matrix. Earlier matrix was 198 into 200, and the new size will be just 50 into 50. So this means it roughly we have taken the 1/4 portion of the image, and then if you see again, you convert it back, and then you get your image. So let me just run this code. So this is the original image, and this is not the complete image. You can see that here it is varying from 0 to 175, 198 roughly, and this is I think this should be 0 to 198, and this should be 0 to 200, and in that case we have reduced this to 0 to 50 and 0 to 50 here, this side 15 to 50, this is 15 to 50 essentially. So now what happened, but I have to do, if I make this size more, so I have to include more eigenvalues, important eigenvalues. So I can make it 60 important one, and I can make it 60 important one, and at least we should get some good image. 60 important one. So now this is the cropped image. Okay, there is some quality is not there. Okay, it should come maybe 100. Okay, maybe some transformation is happening that I need to see why the image is not coming of good quality down. I think there is some order change. Order change essentially means that you should have the 3 component in the same. Okay, anyway, so what we can do, even for cropping, this part is not important. We can have actually, without this SVD part is not important. For cropping you can do without using the passing through the SVD, since in this case what is happening, your composition is changing of the image, like some part is getting multiplied not by the corresponding part but some other part. So that is also important to identify the mistake. So what we do, we can even do it here itself. I basically I don't want this part. I don't want this part. Sorry, I don't want this part. I don't want this part. Yeah, I can use this one. And what I do, I basically from the original matrix itself, without this matrix, image matrix, I can select. I can do the cropping from this itself. So reconst image is equal to control V. So image matrix I can take, and then I select basically all the rows and let's say 30 columns, and then I should get this image. Okay, so let me just all the rows and let's say 50 columns. What is happening? It should actually 150. Okay, so it should be this one. Sorry, it should be this one. Now it should give. So we are getting the basically cropping. So from the original matrix, I am taking the some portion of that, all the rows, like all this height, but only these columns. So if you understand this as a matrix, so only few columns out of this. And then this means I can increase the columns here, since this column means I'm taking all the rows, and this basically means I taking the 50 columns only. So I can make it to be maybe 100. So this means roughly I have taken the half of the image, half of the left portion of the image. So in this way I am getting this portion of the image. So important thing is that your image is a matrix. Your image is in matrix, and if you have the matrix in hand, then you can apply several linear algebra tools to that matrix to basically reduce its size, to crop it. And similarly, I can take this portion. I can also take the above portion. So then I have to change my structure. I have to change here all the basically columns, and I can take this many rows. So in that way, I get this portion of the image by doing the cropping part. Okay, so in this way you can basically play with the image and you can do many things. You can also take some other portion, like you can also take 100 into 100, then you will get this portion only. So this way you can basically play with this is a matrix anyway. So once you have the matrix, then how many rows you select, which rows you select, which columns you select, then you convert it back to the image, you get the matrix. So PC and SVD, again I repeat, are very important tool in image processing, in data science, machine learning, in factor analysis. Factor analysis is a big area where basically you have certain factors based on which you want to do some analysis, and then you want to know which factors are the important one, which are not the important one. And so you basically, there are techniques, PC and SVD you can use. There are other techniques also. And dimension reduction is again similar to factor analysis, where you reduce the dimension of the data. So you say that, okay, whatever information is hidden in the 100 of variables, can similar information only be obtained by using 10 variables, and so on, so that you save the computational time and resources and storage cost and all those things. So they where PC and SVD are important. Now remember that we have not used very, let's say, very lengthy codes here. We have done everything in maybe 100 of lines of code only, where by reading the data, even compression, even reducing the size, dimension, whatever we have done is done only within 100 of lines. But if you want to do the same thing in the C++, you have to write maybe thousands of lines or maybe more than that. And even in one lecture that I have covered this much component, starting from the basic commands to reading the image matrix and converting into matrix, reducing its size, and all those things I have done within 1.5 hour of lecture. In C++, this will not be possible since you have to go through so lengthy codes. But important note is here that C++ is a compiled language and Python is an interpreted language. So there is a difference here. So obviously C++ code are directly converted to machine readable forms or machine executable forms. So that's why they are faster, and Python codes are slower. But again, if you have high computational power, then this difference become very less. So that's why people are preferring Python also, since once you have good computational resources available to you, which is very possible nowadays. So basically Python becoming very popular since it reduce the number of people to build something. Here you need very less people. So that's all. So for today lecture, thank you.
Hello.
Hello. Yes. Ji, madam.
Good afternoon, sir. Good morning, sir. Sorry. Sir, actually, one doubt is how can we know to which number of columns the data can be reduced to keep the loss of information at a particular percentage?
Okay. So one aspect is that let's say we have five eigenvalues, and those eigenvalues are let's say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So we have five eigenvalues in a particular example, and those numbers are 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So what we do, we basically sum these numbers. If these are negative numbers, negative eigenvalues, we take the mode. Obviously, after taking the mode, we put them in basically descending order. So 5, 4, 9, then 12, and 2, 14, and then 15. So the total sum is 15. So this means 15 is the, let's say, 100% information, which is representing by 15. And then suppose you want to take only the 90% of that, then you basically you basically start dividing. Let's say you start taking the cumulative sum. So you say that, okay, this means 1 by 15 is, if I take one eigenvalue, I have this information. If I take, 5 by 15, highest one. So this means by taking one eigenvalues, which is the highest one, I have roughly 30% of the information, since 5 by 15 is 33%. Then if I include 5 and 4, which are, I am taking the descending order, 9 by 15. So this means I have 3 by 5. So this means I have 60% of the information by taking only 5 and 4 eigenvalues. And then if I take 5, 4, 3, so this means I have 12 by 15. So this means I have roughly 80% of the information, I think, 4 by 5. So by including 3 eigenvalues, 5, 4, 3, I have 80% of the information. And then by including rest, I can decide like how many I have to get. So I can calculate the sum of mode of the eigenvalues, and then I can calculate these numbers by taking different eigenvalues, and then I can decide if I want 90%, how many eigenvalues are I have to select. Is it clear? I think this is.
Yes. Sir, the next question is there a command to get it automatically, as we may have a large number of eigenvalues?
Command, okay, command I need to see, but you can write it. This is not very difficult. So for example, I can say I can calculate the first mode of the vector. This way I can do it. I think it will not take much time. So yeah, good question. So what we can do, basically, I have my eigenvalues here stored. Let me go down. So my eigenvalues are stored in sigma, this one. So I can basically print sigma. This is okay. This is, sorry, let me go down here. I have to include here. So sigma, this is sigma. So these are my eigenvalues. There are like this many. Then this is the highest one, and these are automatically put in the descending order since it works like this. Now what I want to know, I can calculate the cumulative sum of them. Cum sum basically is equal to sigma dot cum sum something. I can get that. So this means I am getting the cumulative sum. So this is my cumulative sum where I am basically keep adding those things. So first value, only one, this one, and then this is the second one is the sum of this one and this one. And then the third one is the sum of these first three. So I get the cumulative sum, and then I can, what I can do, basically I get the last value is my total sum, this one. So what I can do, I can take again this one, Control C divided by this one. So this is my, so this means that in the first itself, this is a 77% of the information. The first two itself is 83% of the information. First three, 88%. Then first four, 92%, and so on in this vector. And then basically you can decide, okay, if you want 90% of the information, you can take only the first 90 or 95%. Let's say 95% is the cutoff. You can only the first four eigenvalues. That's all. So you can decide in this way. You can again write some code here that, okay, give me those eigenvalues where come some less than equal to something. I need to put that logic. So I can put that. So maybe come some by this. Actually, you can do many things. Yeah. So this means true, 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 false. So the first four I have to take, and then I can again select it. I can do one or two more line to get these values. This is not difficult. This is just straightforward. You can do. Anything else? I think, yeah, this way we have to do.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, ma'am, these are all the questions, or?
No, sir, these are the only
Okay.
questions.
Okay, thank you very much, Arun sir. So
Okay, thank you, Dr. Suraj.